Good evening once again, all my fellow Bat fans out there in YouTube land. This is Matt, Comic Order 410, doing another video. Basically, this weekend was Monster ManiaCon, and I said before I was very excited to go because it's billed as a 1966 Batman reunion, and it was Adam West, Burt Ward, and Lee Meriwether headlining. I was super excited because I've been a fan since I was 5 or 6. And I never met them. And what you're looking at now is, as I said before, those of you that watch my videos, the very first video I ever made, this was the very first thing I ever showed. It's one of my prized possessions. It's my 1966 Batman movie poster I've had since 1988 or 1989. And like I said, since I was a big fan of the show as a kid, my mother saw this somewhere she went for a pretty decent deal, and she bought it for me. When I was, I couldn't have been more than 12 years old. I was 11 or 12, and she bought me this, and I took good care of it. And actually, they had it in a frame for me, but I eventually got like a nice, archival frame with an acid-free backer made, UV resistant glass and all that. And it's one of my favorite pieces that I own, just because I've had it so long, and it's cool looking, and I'm a big fan of the show. So, I've always wanted to get this signed. Like I said, they came to, last time they came to Baltimore was 2004, and it was Adam West, Burt Ward, and Frank Gorshin. And I missed out on that and didn't get there, and I've been kicking myself in the ass over that ever since, because Frank Gorshin has since passed away. So, the 3 that were at this show, Adam West, Burt Ward, and Lee Meriwether, the only 3 living members of this cast that they show on this poster here. And, this was one of my, my priorities were to get this poster signed and get some stuff signed by David Prowse. So the very first day of the show, the first thing I did was get an Adam West line. And, those of you that are looking here, you'll see it's signed by Lee Meriwether there. Meow. Sincerely, Lee Meriwether. Burt Ward Robin, but it's not signed by Adam West, and I'll tell you why. I had to make a judgment call on the fly, and I'd like you all to tell me what you think. Give me your input, please, and your opinions on the matter, and maybe if you agree with me or disagree with me, or what you would have done, because I appreciate your input and I value your opinions. But basically, I waited in line for over an hour, and you get to the front, and Adam West was charging $60 per autograph, which I had read that's what he charged, so I was prepared to pay it. And I had this poster in my Batman 66 #1 San Diego Comic-Con variant that I was going to get signed. And you get to the front of the line, and Adam West behind the table, and as many people do, he has like an agent or handler, manager, whatever you want to call him, in between the table and the line of the fans. And he would stop you and ask you how many autographs you want, and he would take your money, and he would go, "Hi, what's your name?" Not because he cares what your name is or he wants to get to know you, but the reason for this is because even though you're paying $60, you could only get a personalized signature. Well, when I heard this, I thought about, because this is an original poster, and I just thought it's so, in my opinion, it's very, very pretty looking poster. I like it. You may disagree, but I think it's a good looking poster. And not only that, it's probably eventually going to be worth something. And I don't sell my stuff normally, but, down the road, God forbid, I might need money, or, I might, when I pass on, I might want to leave it to one of my kids or something. So, I didn't really want to get this personalized. And when I got to the front, I told him, I said, "Look, I have these 2 items to get signed. My name's Matt." I said, "But I'd really rather not have this poster personalized. I don't care about the comic." And he said, "No, sorry, we don't do that." I said, "Look, I understand you don't want people selling this stuff." I said, I'm literally just a fan. I can step to the side until the line dies down. You can quiz me on the show. I bet you all know most of the answers. I said, I'll pay double. And I said, if you want, I'll even put something in writing and sign it and date it stating that I won't sell this poster in my lifetime, and I'll give you my driver's license, let you put down the driver's license number there. And they were just like, nope, sorry. If we make an exception for you, we got to make it for everyone. And here's where I had to make the decision, and I do want your opinions, please. And on one hand, I understand why they do it. Those of you that watch my Comic-Con, Baltimore Comic-Con videos, you know I get a lot of signatures, but they're all for me. Or, you know, I might give a couple here and there out as a gift to friends, but they're all for me. I'm not selling my stuff. I very rarely sell any of my stuff. And these hawks that go to the conventions and just get tons of signatures, you know, 20 of the same book signed, all sent to CGC, and they put them on eBay that weekend. You know, I've told you how they irritate me because they screw the hobby up for a fan like us who wants to get like an item or two signed for their personal collection, and they can't get it signed the way they want, or they can't get a sketch. Like, you know, Mike Mignola and Adam Hughes stopped sketching because of these guys that come to shows and pay them to do sketches and sell them on eBay. Like, oh, can I get a second one? It's for my son. And then they're both on eBay and stuff like that. And, you know, these guys that get 50 books signed and put them to CGC, you know, these are the reasons why, you know, it's screwed up for fans like us. You know, Captain Strangelove was talking about how Neil Adams used to sign books for free, and then it was $10 and now it's $20. And that's because of those people that I'm talking about screwing it up for the rest of us. And this is a perfect example. Adam West used to do non-personalized signatures. He charged $60, which I think is a lot for an autograph to a fan. But at least he'd sign it how you want it. But now he doesn't want anybody selling his stuff, so he will not give you a non-personalized autograph. So I thought about it on this poster, and I didn't really... I feel kind of like, you know, for $60, even if somebody is going to sell it, they you know, how much you think they're going to make? They paid for the item you're signing, they paid you $60 for the autograph, you've made your money. But, you know, I understand why they do it, but I was just like, on the fly, I was just like, I'll just get the comic signed because I don't want it to say to Matt on this poster. I just thought it would look cheesy, and, you know, someday if I do want to sell or leave to my kid, it would make it impossible to sell. I'm honestly, you know, I'm a fan. I was there with 2 items, and I feel like their agents should be able to tell the difference. Like, you know, if somebody's there getting 10 or 20 things signed, you might raise an eyebrow to it. But the guy's got 1 or 2 things, you know, and he's paying you. Kind of feel like you could do it, but I didn't argue. And his manager was a little, you know, little bit of a standoffish jerk. Not overbearingly asshole-ish, but, you know, definitely a control freak and wouldn't let you talk to Adam West. You ask Adam West a question, he'd answer it for him, and, you know, slightly irritating. But Adam, he wasn't like an outright jerk to me, even though he denied me. And Adam West was nice. He could see the look on my face that I was like crushed like a little kid that found coal in his stocking. That's why I kind of feel like they should be able to tell the difference between a fan and an autograph hawk who doesn't care about them or their work. But who knows? You know, he shook my hand, said, "It's nice to meet you, Matt. Thank you for being such a fan of my show." And, you know, he did. I paid for him to personalize my Batman 66 variant, and I asked him, like, you know, I know 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers won't put out your show on DVD, and you and Burt and all you know, Lee aren't making any money off of it. I was like, is DC taking care of you for these comics, and is Mattel taking care of you for these new toys? He's like, oh yeah, we're getting something for that. He's like, I haven't seen the comics. And I was like, go ahead and thumb through it if you want. He's like, oh, that's pretty neat. I was like, yeah. And they seem to be selling pretty well, so that, you know, hopefully will equal some long-term sales for you so you can get some money. And I was polite, and I wished him a safe trip home and said it was nice to finally meet him. But I can't lie and say I'm a little bit disappointed every time I look at this poster knowing that signature's missing. But I feel in my heart, for my purposes, I'd be more upset if I was looking at it personalized. And I hope I don't sound like a snob or like I'm being greedy, because I don't plan on selling this. This means something to me, but that's just the way I wanted my poster signed. And, you know, I don't know. I just made that decision. I had to make it right then or there. So please let me know what you think about that. But I also do want to say Burt Ward was really nice. And he could see I was crushed. And he was like, come on up, pal. And he was like, what can I do for you? I was like, can you sign this? And he was like, yeah, it's $40 for a signature. I was like, do you mind not personalizing? He's like, I'll sign it any way you want, pal. And he was being so nice. He signed this in my Batman 66 #1, which I'll show later. And he took a picture with me for free. He was very nice. And you could tell he enjoyed talking to the fans. Like, even after he signed stuff, people were stepping to the side and listening to his stories. So when I got up front being a big Bruce Lee fan, I asked him what it was like working with Bruce Lee. And he was like, you know, I don't know if you realize this. Well, first thing I'm going to say, a lot of you probably know this already, but one of the reasons Burt Ward got the part as Robin is he was 17 or 18 years old, and he was a black belt in karate, which was extremely rare in the 1960s for a white Westerner to be a black belt in any martial art. They just didn't teach outsiders that much back then, and especially at his age to be a black belt already. But one of the reasons he got the part is he came in there and was breaking boards in front of the producers, so they gave him the part. And when they were going to launch the Green Hornet show, Bruce Lee was cast as Kato, and they had a two-parter on the Batman series that launched the Green Hornet show. And in that show, there was a quote-unquote misunderstanding, and Batman fought the Green Hornet while Robin had to fight Bruce Lee as Kato. And Burt Ward was like, yeah, I don't know if you realize this, but Bruce Lee's very first fight scene that he ever filmed and put to film was against me as Robin. And he's like, I think that's pretty special. I was like, that is amazing. And he's right. You know, Bruce Lee went back and made his movies in China after the Green Hornet. That made him huge over in China. That American show, he was huge. They even called it the Kato show over there, not the Green Hornet after a while. And he was on the show Longstreet in America before that, but he was just a martial arts instructor. He didn't fight anybody. So I was like, man, you know what? You're right. That's pretty damn cool. And he was like, yeah, me and Bruce were actually friends. He's like, being that I was also a martial artist. He's like, nothing like him. He's like, we used to spar a couple times a week because he's like, we lived several houses apart. He was my neighbor. He's like, we were good friends. And he's like, he was new to the film and TV business, so, you know, I could give him a little advice there. And he's like, I've never seen anybody who is such a perfectionist at his craft. And he was like, you know, meaning physical conditioning. He's like, I learned a lot about training and physical conditioning from Bruce. And he's like, the guy would train like a madman 5 days a week. And he was just amazing. He said, I've never seen anybody as quick as him. He's like, his reflexes, his punches, his kicks. He's like, I've never seen anybody as quick as him. And he's like, he was a good man, and we were actually good friends. And I thought that was really cool. You know, he was telling a lot of great stories. You know, he told a story about how I mentioned when I filmed the Bat Cycle in the other video, you know, he had mentioned how that car, the little sidecar, would launch off as like a little tiny go-kart thing, and it was not designed well. And he said, man, it was scary as hell. You never knew where that thing was going to fire you when it shot off. And he's like, and Adam West got to sit on the bike. He's like, that thing would shoot off, and I'd just go veering off to the right and hit stuff. He's like, it was awful. But he's like, they had to repair that a bunch of times. He was just crash into something. But yeah, apparently it was very erratic. But yeah, he told some great stories, and he's really cool. And then I met the beautiful Miss Lee Meriwether. And she's in her 70s. She's still just a sweet, classy old lady. She was so nice. And happy to meet her fans, talking away. Again, I stepped to the side. She was telling some great stories about, you know, Star Trek. And she said she was excited to meet Bones McCoy. She thought he was cute and thought he was a good actor. And she said she first met him, she was like, hi, I'm Lee. And he said, you know, she had a low-cut outfit for Star Trek. The women wore skimpy outfits sometimes, and she said when she said hi to Bones, he walked up and just kind of pulled her top down and looked down her shirt and was like, what time is it? She's like, oh, he's such a prankster. I'm like, yeah, don't know if you could get away with that now in Hollywood, you know. But she was really nice, and she signed this, and I asked her if she'd sign my Batman 66 #1. I was like, I feel bad. I said, it says Batman 66, but they have Julie Newmar's toy on the cover. I was like, you know, you should be on there because you were in the movie in 66. And she's like, no, I'll sign it for you, sweetheart. And, you know, those of you that watch the movie, you know, man, Lee Meriwether was beautiful. And I, in my opinion, I think she was the most attractive of the Catwoman. And there's a lot of them. I mean, Julie Newmar, super sexy. Eartha Kitt, Michelle Pfeiffer, Anne Hathaway. I mean, whew, some gorgeous women. But yeah, she was Miss USA. I think she was the hottest. And her daughter was there, and her daughter You know, they had a picture of her with her daughter on the set of the 1966 Batman movie. She was probably like 2 to 4 years old, so her daughter has to be about 49 or 50. She looks just like her mother and got mommy's great genetics, and her daughter was gorgeous, man, and did not look 49 at all. And they were both really nice. You could tell they weren't just mother and daughter traveling together. They were buddies. They were best friends and having a good time. So it was really nice meeting all them. And I had a great time, and finally got to meet these people. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get Adam West to sign it, but I just made that decision on the fly. So, yeah, please give me your input on that, and appreciate you taking the time to check it out, as always. So, I don't know. I think I made, for me, looking back, I made the right call, because I don't know what it was. I just didn't want it personalized, especially if I was going to pay $60. That was my thought on the matter. So, but thank you once again for taking the time to check out my videos. Always appreciate it. Everyone, take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Until the next Bat Time on the same Bat channel. Take care of yourselves, and happy comic book reading.